thought that you did as far as emphasizing points, or if you did.
Yeah, no, it really doesn't change from my post-game comments last night. You know, I thought our start was good. You know, you come out and score the first goal in that building, it's what you want. And then we you know, we give up a couple immediately after that to plays that normally are a staple of our game. The reads were not there for us in those 2 plays. But the big issue in my mind, and having reviewed the game again, was the management of the puck through the middle of the ice. You know, from 5 feet inside of the neutral zone red line to the top of the circle. There's just too many plays that came right back at us. I think the strength of our team is working the puck down below the goal line on the cycle, forecheck, recovering pucks, and we just didn't give ourselves that opportunity on a consistent basis.
When did it become apparent that Parse couldn't continue?
You know what? It was about it was the latter part of the second period, maybe 3/4 of the way through the second period, that I made a decision to take him off the line. I was just not seeing the kind of player that I was hoping to see. I really haven't yet. You know, I'm just waiting for him to break loose with his skill to be able to do something very good for us. And last night he was into a behind the play look. He was turning the pucks over, not able to battle along the boards, push against people, and to me there was something wrong. And so I made the change on the line, and as you see, he wasn't on the ice today.
You see King slotting in there with Andrews and Simmons, maybe, is that the thought?
That is the thought. I talked to the coaching staff down in Manchester today, and they obviously like a lot of the things that he's doing. They feel he's a very consistent player for them. And I feel that what we saw in training camp and over the last couple of years, that'd be a good place for him to start. You know, playing with Jesus, who's a very intelligent player who can read off of him, and at the same time, they should be able to make some pretty good plays. I like the offensive part of King's game when we saw him in the exhibition games.
Big body too.
Very big body, yeah, real wide man. Established position in front of the net. He has good hands. He's got very good awareness, can make plays. And on the other side of the puck, his reads are becoming more consistent. Will push his pace. That's the one area of the game that we want to see to get to be better, pushing the overall intensity pace of his game.
Do you know if he's been playing more of a top 6 role in Manchester?
Yeah, he's been one of their better players down there. Throughout the early part of the season, maybe their most consistent forward, playing in all situations. Both special teams, one of the top lines, and making a difference in games.
Talk about the plan with Schenn now, as far as going down the...
Well, you know what? Schenn is, he'd been assigned to Manchester. To me, coming into the training camp, he had a meniscus, he had a knee issue. Going back to the World Junior Team training camp in, I think it was in Newfoundland this summer, and he had a couple of other things that were bugging him too. So right now, with the way the season is going and the early going here, it's tough to get him into the games, and I feel because of those injuries. And getting now to Manchester to play, you know, how many 7 or 8 games in a couple of weeks would be very beneficial for him. And certainly with Parse being out of the lineup now, this would be a great opportunity for him to be able to come back and, having played some games, everything's going well, feeling good physically, and get into the lineup.
How are the lines going to look maybe for the Columbus game? Have you made any major changes other than putting King into the lineup?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
That would be the change, the only change that I'll make. That's King with Jesus and Simmons. I think would be a good way for him to play his first National League hockey game with a good veteran defending player, checking player. And we'll keep everything pretty much the same after that.
I know it was only one game, but do you see any tweaking maybe for the penalty killing? I know it's been great though up until maybe yesterday.
Yeah, penalty killing has been outstanding.
Yeah.
You know, the plays that happened last night in San Jose were simply lost face-off, shots to the net, off the end boards, and finding rebounds, loose pucks. So we're not going to, we will not make too many changes on the look that we've been showing. We're actually very confident and very happy with the way things have been.
Were there any goals that you were unhappy with as far as Bernier was concerned?
Not as far as Bernier. No, we had team play in front. I think everybody needs to take responsibility on what happened. The other part of it was the timeliness of the goals that we gave up. And we get ourselves back into games. We're ready to go, and next shift, a minute later, they got that 2-goal lead again, or they're building on what they had, and so we just need to be, and we have been. We need to get back to again in all those situations the importance of goals for that next couple of shifts right after, goals against, bouncing back and responding to that challenge. And again, that's something we have done a very good job with so far this year, and that was a letdown for us last night.
In a game like last night, is the plus-minus an important evaluation tool? Green and JJ are -3, Dowdy, Scudds was +3. Is that any kind of indication of how?
No. It doesn't make for a bad season. It makes for a bad night. That's all. That's just the way it is sometimes. It's nobody wants to get into that -2, -3 in a game, but it happens, and it happens a lot, and you just got to bounce back the next game.
I mean, in the camp, it was pretty exciting seeing the 19-year-olds, Clifford and Schenn, pushing for an NHL spot. Now that it's shaken out how it has, would it be fair to say that Clifford is closer to the type of NHL player that he projects to than maybe Schenn is at this stage in his development?
You know what? The fact that he's playing NHL games now ahead of Schenn, you could probably have a tendency to say that, but to me, Clifford is probably, he's on the fourth line right now. He's probably going to move up into a third line situation as a player in in his career, and Schenn is projected to be a higher player, and he will be. He'll be a top 6 forward, and the skill level that he has is going to allow him to play at that level. And what we're trying to find is we will add to his game is that importance of that checking part of the game. And I think when watching the game last night in San Jose from up top, he probably had a pretty good look at how important that is to be a well-rounded player and play in all situations, and certainly be able to play without the puck. It's these games are so close. One play makes a difference, one read, and he'll definitely make that transition into a top 6 forward in the National Hockey League.
When I look at Clifford starting out as a third, fourth line guy, and at least based on what he's shown in junior, having the potential to move up and become somewhat more of a scorer, think a little bit about Dustin Brown. Is that at all a fair comparison as far as where they were at, where Clifford's at this stage in his career?
I would say, you know what, I didn't see Brownie as a junior, but Brownie's a first-round pick, and he's a pretty dynamic scorer, and he has scored 30 goals in the National Hockey League. So I think there's a little bit of separation between the comparables of Clifford and Brown. Although you would always dream that maybe Clifford could step up and become a player who could play in your top 6. But we project him to be in the top 9, and a very good and effective, gritty, hard player at that.
You mentioned when King comes up pace. Can you talk about the current fourth line and their ability to keep up with pace? I thought last night the pace was there. I mean, that's just my opinion, but
I think you're right on. I think their game is very good. Lewis in particular, I mean, that's a strength of skate. He's a guy that gets on the hunt, and he can come up with pucks. He's very strong on his stick right now. They actually have dictated the flow of the game whenever they're on the ice. Same with, with Clifford. He's a very good skater. Has no problem playing at a high level. And I've been very impressed with Westy and how he's come along as a pro player. I mean, I saw him come into training camp one year as a tryout with his brother in Philadelphia. So I've seen quite a change in his growth, and all to the positive, and he's making himself a pretty good hockey player.